time for the Shop Report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. If you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, that number to call, area code 267-687-0026. As always, we'd like to remind you the Shop Report is now being brought to you by none other than the fine folks over at Rocket Digital. If you find yourself in need of services such as marketing consulting, media production, or social media advertising, and a host of other digital services. I don't know why I butcher that all the time. Hop on over to their Facebook page at RDM Detroit. Once again, that's at the @ symbol, RDM Detroit, and tell them Jay from the shop sent you. Or you can go and check out their website, Rocket Digital, ROCKIT digital.net. Joining me on the P-Rogram today is none other than my cat from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park. Brother Rich, what it do down in La La Land?
I'm honored to bring you greetings from the West Coast, the best coast, L.A. I know you're there in Dallas, and we're happy that you all finally have taken care of Dak Prescott, at least the initial part. So I know it's a good
that's
day
the first I heard of it.
And for your young, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's
good to be on the program with you and the listeners and our co-hosts. I'm always honored to be on the platform.
Yeah, got you. I didn't give you but $20, man. It's overkill. Yeah, and my man, and that's the first I heard of Dak Prescott. So you got to fill me in as we get going or rolling on the show today. On the other side of the ledger, we got my man Joey James, aka Joey Pelt, aka Double J. Tell the people what you say.
It is official. The Cowboys have officially named Lil Jerry the official team mascot.
Yay! What you think?
Replacing Rowdy.
Yeah. Well, you thought you was gonna get it? That's funny to you? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I figured as much. We should have my man D Gully from the CO Bus joining us. Yeah, the Cleveland Browns. Well, I got a video that I'm getting ready to put together in a few days, and I'll let you all in on a little secret here about what the subject might be about. I used to do the BSJ 4-point plays, and that's what this will be, of course, this upcoming video. But the subject is Art Modell, and Art Modell became the subject because I'm in a Facebook group where the subject of Art Modell came up. And it's all vilification. So I'm going to set the record straight on the fans here in Cleveland who have so much hatred for Art Modell because he moved the team to Baltimore. I get it. All right. I get it. But in all reality, they're really only mad at themselves. And that's who they should be mad at. Don't be mad at Art because Art did some stuff. And I checked in with my dude, too, by the way, just to confirm the information I had gathered on the subject and about the situation, whether it was good or not. And he confirmed that I was dead on with what I done came up with. But that's another story for another day. We start things off this program with Major League Baseball. And we asked the question, my goodness, how in the world did it go from America's pastime to America's past tense? Double J, your thoughts?
Unfortunately, it started back in 1994. You got to remember when they had the initial lockout, that season that didn't take place. Really, really hurt. It was a critical time where baseball still had the momentum, but football and, of course, the NBA, that was the decade mark, the 10-year mark for David Stern, of course, as well as Michael Jordan. And so when you're in the midst of the Bulls' first three-peat, additionally on the NFL side, you had the Buffalo Bills, Cowboys stuff going on.
Oh, nice.
So
real
again,
cute.
A lot. Yeah. So a very, very difficult time fighting for engagement from the sports landscape. And, of course, because that took place, baseball took a back seat and even allowed hockey, which was just then having the Red Wings start making some noise very early on there. Teams like the Avalanche were going to ultimately come into play over those next few years as well. So that's to give everybody that full understanding and as to where this really started. And right now it's just a mess because truthfully, the floor was there. I've listened to people that said, look, I've never watched NASCAR in my life. I am now. People are desperate for programming and live programming. And baseball had the opportunity, being the quote unquote boys of summer, and they dropped the ball, literally. And so it's unfortunately, I think this is something that could set them back, where soccer will replace them over the next 5 years as within that fourth spot for the top four sports in the United States.
Brother Rich, before you even respond to that,
sir.
two things. One is for you, Double J, but this one's for you, Brother Rich. Brother Rich, what did I used to say a long time ago about what was the worst thing that happened to television? Do you remember? Because it's been a long time. It's probably been about 10, 12 years.
I don't want to misquote you, so I'm not going to try.
You remember I used to say the worst thing that could happen to TV technically is 24 when TV went to 24-hour programming.
Fact. I remember.
Remember that because it was not enough program-worthy material. You see what I mean? If TV once TV went 24 hours,
yes, I do recall you saying.
Yeah, you get what I mean, and that's what we're seeing here. I said that years ago when I still had hair. Okay, and anybody that knows me and seen me lately, they know I'm right. I'm rocking the George Jefferson, James from Good Time look. Yeah, I'll be the first one to tell y'all. Yes, I peeped this a long time ago. Once the Stuart Scotts, rest of soul, and all them, and the Chris Bermans and all of them, once they made their initial runs, all the rest of it after that was terrible. And that's TURRIBLE. But to you, right quick, Double J, you mentioned the Red Wings. Just sidebar. When we talk dynasties, why do the Red Wings never come up? Stevie Eiserman, baby, that's my boy. But why in the dynasty talk do the Red Wings not come up?
Well, truthfully, they should. The reason being is they had a playoff streak of 25 consecutive years.
Sure did.
Additionally, sure, they're, I believe, third or fourth all-time in both Stanley Cup appearances and Stanley Cup wins, only trailing, of course, a couple of the original six foes like Montreal and Toronto. But with that being said, the Red Wings were very much the Yankees of the 90s.
Yes, they were.
The late 90s.
Yes, they were.
So, there's few teams across pro sports in the U.S. that draw that kind of national following. You can, again, I mentioned the Yankees. You could say the same for the Red Sox, the Cubs. But the Red Wings, when it comes to hockey, same with Boston. Again, that you could be in Phoenix, Arizona, and you will know that the Red Wings are in town. And so there's somebody that, especially, what's I maybe forgotten during that run is the Russian Five and how groundbreaking that was. You had people defecting. You had somebody like Larionov that was that went about doing it the right way, and it opened this huge door because again there was a regime change. You had mandatory service time at that point with the USSR that really changed the landscape for future generations today if they want to play in the NHL and have the ability to do so. It is far easier for them to do that, and that really stems from that original five group. And again, that was the first time in history for all five Russians to be playing on the same line in the NHL.
And you mentioned appearances. How many appearances for the Red Wings during that span?
As far as the Stanley Cup, there was 4.
Okay, 4. But then I mean, you said something about playoff appearances or something on our postseason appearances.
Yeah. In the playoffs, they went 25 straight years. That streak only ended about 3 or 4 years ago.
Got you. But yeah, and still, there's people on this side of the equator that's getting all giddy and excited and lauding, folks that go 9 times. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to say that out loud. I'm sorry. Yeah, Brother Rich. Yeah, right. 9-25. You
Is that called for, sir?
Yes. It's about as called for as Jerry Jones and Little Jerry in Dallas. And even though I'm a Hurricane fan, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's called for. Brother Rich, Double J also mentioned something about the Yankees, and that brought this. We've seen how we're on the subject of baseball here, and we're going to get to the meat of it all here in a minute. But the Yankees have been accused of sign stealing, man. What? Yo, Yankees, man, what's up with that?
Well, I think that when you pay that kind of money for your roster, and you're
allowed to steal signs?
Kind of rabid fan base,
stop it.
No, I think that you are in this world of the today BA and the today MLB and the today NFL. I think that anything goes, and unfortunately, in today's world of high technology, people are using, which they're saying that sign stealing has been a part of baseball ever since its inception. So teams are saying, well, don't get mad at us that we have just upped our ability to steal signs. Much like they're saying in basketball that we use now, what is it called about the analytics.
Oh,
so
right.
Using quote unquote analytics in their
and the 2-minute report.
So I'll defend my Yankees in saying that we didn't steal. We got caught, but we didn't. You know how you were taught when we were little children. I got caught, but don't look at me. Look at that guy over there. So don't look at us. Look at the Houston Astros. We don't like them. They got caught. They cheated.
Yeah, got you. I got 2 words for all y'all folks that I used to try to tell for however long ago, but for whatever reason, you kept substituting real reality with television reality. None of these sporting events are completely left up to chance. So when your favorite team loses and you refuse to go to work for a week, that's your fault. Get out of your feelings at 45. Oh, did I say that out loud? Excuse me. Sorry.
Man, I want to weigh in on the baseball thing that you were talking about as well.
Yeah.
There's a thought I have on that I would like to share with you on that, and us, and our listeners, if you would.
Of course.
Consider this for a minute, listeners.
Hold on.
Another issue.
Hold that thought, Brother Rich. Let me read this little piece, because then I wanted to read the piece, and then I was going to come to you.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Cool. I thought we were going to move on from that.
No. Because, again, the subject here is how did Major League Baseball go from America's pastime to past tense? But in a 33-5 vote late yesterday afternoon, the MLB Players Association rejected the league's 60-game proposal. Sadly, the latest in what feels like far too many to count. Major League Baseball owners responded with a 30-0 vote authoring Commissioner Manfred to exercise his authority as such, meaning the heck with what MLB PA talking about, we're going to have a season regardless. Go ahead with your thoughts, Brother Rich.
Well, again, here's a thought. Baseball in America has suffered and continues to suffer from so many things, from the same disease that so many things in America suffers from. The isms of racism, capitalism, a socialization process that tells us, let's look at Los Angeles, for example. I don't know where the nearest baseball field is to where I live. And in the average community, they're in Cleveland. Perhaps you may know, but I don't remember in Cleveland where a baseball field was. I don't know where one is in the part of Michigan that Double J would live. If you live in the suburbs, maybe there's one closer in the park. If you live somewhere where the city has some property, maybe there's a field there.
Yeah.
But the idea of baseball being an inner city sport that fathers played with their sons, that was passed on from generation to generation, has been taken away from us and moved and made it a suburban game. And now we don't even play baseball in America. So baseball is no longer an American sport. So you don't have, these players are getting large contracts. They don't have the passion, most of them, for the game anymore. We can't even identify any baseball stars to think of. Maybe Aaron Judd and Trout. And here in LA, we follow the Dodgers, so we may know some of their players from time to time. But as a whole, we don't really follow baseball players like we did Reggie Jackson, like we did the New York Yankees.
Shoot, Thurman Munson.
When they were hot. Thurman Munson, we don't really follow them like that anymore. And so we don't have the attachment to baseball like we once did. The stars are coming from overseas. They're coming from Central and South America. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from Mexico. And we are not producing locally the kind of baseball enthusiasts that we did. So why am I watching something that I'm not involved in? I don't watch baseball. I love the Yankees, and I've become a Dodgers fan ever since I've been living in L.A. I don't watch baseball like so many other people until the playoffs, until it's time to go to the postseason.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, why? Because baseball is no longer exciting. And it's exactly what you said. There's so much now. There's so much vying for our attention. There's so much out here that everybody's fighting for eyeballs.
Yeah, I like that. Everybody fighting for eyeballs. But you know what, though? The gist of this deal between the MLBPA and the league, of course, I mean, it's really ugly. I mean, it started out with them asking the players, the owners, to ask the players to take a pay cut. And I don't know the breakdown of the whole pay cut scale or whatever, Double J, but I just thought that was asinine from the beginning. Then they asked them to take another one. In other words, for me, from a philosophical standpoint, the owners are going to, if everything had been a signed, sealed, delivered deal, the owners were still going to be making out far more than the players. And I'm tired of hearing about that. But these overpriced paid millionaires and so on and so forth. Listen, when you're in that arena, okay, there are some guys that are equivalent to me where I'm at my level in my arena. You get what I mean? You can't. The common man can't compare himself to a professional ball player. But don't get it twisted. On that level, there's some guys that need the ends and so on and so forth or whatnot. You can't be asking them guys to take a pay cut. Well, how about you take the pay cut? You the billionaire. But the gist of the deal, this latest deal, the union wanted a 70-game season with an increase in playoff bonuses from $25 million to $50 million, and forgiving the $170 million salary advance given in March. Owners offered to pay only $33 million. Double J, is that foul? Am I looking at this right? Is this a case of big bank fighting with little bank, but everybody's bank is bigger than me and yours? What's happening here?
Exactly. That's the unfortunate side. We're really, you and I and Brother Rich not that long ago talked about gate fees and where the money was coming from for not just baseball, but in general.
Right. Which percentage the fans play a role in game day. Right.
Absolutely. And so because we're all coming to grips with the reality that we're not going to be able to attend this, and that's across the board, you've heard Adam Silver say that they are not built for a multi-year pandemic. I think that this is really highlighting, and it's unfortunate because when it comes to, I hope the rest of the players and their respective associations are paying very close attention to what's happening in baseball, because this is just to quote the gentleman from the undefeated Miami Dolphins. Don't talk to me when they're in my neighborhood. Call me when they're on my block. And they are.
That was Mercury Morris.
Your block.
Mercury Morris said that. Yeah.
And so, for the rest of the respective leagues out there, this is something I've talked with my rep from the Pistons today. They have not heard a word yet about what they're going to do next year. And so, as I just emphasized with what Adam Silver was quoted as saying as of last week, this is going to be a big deal when it comes to contract negotiations. We talked about the NFL jumping the gun and approving something, but in retrospect, they might have made the best decision possible, because had they waited it out, that number could have drastically swung a different direction, and they're at least protected and locked in for the next decade. So, it may balance out in their favor, especially here early on. But for everybody else who's not that fortunate, this is very much them, trying to split pennies here.
You know what, Double J? I was going to say this for a couple rows down, but you mentioned you threw the NFL in there. So I said now. And then, Brother Rich, you can come back and with your response to the other one. But when it comes to Tony Clark, MLB Players Association, Tony Clark, or NFL Players Association, DeMaurice Smith, who you taking? Brother Rich, who you taking?
MLB.
Yeah, Tony
Smith is a terrible rep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Tony Clark is much stronger.
Yeah, Tony Clark.
Much stronger.
What about you, Double J?
Yeah, Tony Clark's very he's a sound individual, and he is pro players.
Yeah,
and not
I was glad
the man, so to speak.
Yeah, I'll say that too. Okay, so Brother Rich, as far as the monies and stuff go, do you want me to read that part again? What the gist of the deal was? Because to me,
no, I think they're in. I think I agree with Jay.
Yeah,
they're in trouble. These leagues are in trouble. A player just Nikola Jokic just tested positive for coronavirus today. The NBA is in trouble. They're going to Florida. These contracts are in trouble. These leagues are in trouble.
Yeah.
Dr. Fauci already know. I know people in the medical industry. They say you don't find vaccines for viruses just overnight. They said it could take years to do this.
No, it's no question.
Have people in arenas for years.
Yeah.
All these contracts are in trouble. All these contracts are going to be null and void after all. That's why they're all fighting to get seasons in, because they need to justify these contracts. And remember, in the NBA, they paid them already. They can't get that money back.
I know.
They paid all these. They got TV money that they're gonna have to give back, but they paid the players. They can't get that money back.
Hey,
they got arena fees and things. They're in trouble. They're just finishing the arena out here for football. What's the young lady that was supposed to open it up?
For the Raiders?
What's the name? Here in LA, what's the hot young singer that was supposed to open up the big arena?
Shania Twain?
In front of, not Shania Twain, not.
Oh, you got me. Oh, you
come to me. But one of these young.
You having a barbershop J moment. You having a senior moment. Yeah. See how I feel?
I don't know the young lady. What's the young lady that Kanye West interrupted at the awards? They said. Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had a big setup for Taylor Swift to perform in front of 100,000 people, and they had to, of course, cancel that because all of these arenas they're having breakouts when they have events in them. So here we have that you can barely go to a restaurant now and have dinner because you have to worry about what kind of ventilation system they get, because if somebody coughs in the corner, you could get the virus. And then it may not damage you, but you take it home and it damages and kills someone in your house who's an elderly person or a person of any age that may have an underlying condition pre-existing that they may or may not be aware of. So we're in very different times now. You have all kind of social justice movements that are erupting all over the places, and the players are having to make decisions. Players are having to make serious decisions about where their loyalties will lie. So now there's a question about what will LeBron instruct and guide the players to do. Yes, all these contracts are in flux. And this is why everyone believes that LeBron is quiet, because of exactly what you're talking about, the numbers on those papers, that the owners have an issue now with these arenas for next year. What are we going to do with them? They rely on having a certain amount of people coming through them. Now, if you're not going to have anyone coming to these concerts, you have Live Nation as a canceled concert. It's the number one concert promotion company in the country. They've canceled concerts for the next 2 years, 2 summers, this summer and next summer. They already canceled them already. All the big London promotion companies.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Everything that they have on tap. So where are we going to get these games in, and how are these contracts that we're talking about, these numbers for any of these leagues, going to be justified? Football is adamant that they are going to beat the projections and they're going to get their season in. Well, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, talk is tough. You can talk all that if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But if Fauci shut it down, baby, Fauci shut it down. You know what else is interesting, Double J? I'm coming to you. Do you have a I meant to look it up right quick before we came on, but at 5 o'clock today, there was supposed to be some decision. The only thing that was holding up the finalization, if you would, for Major League Baseball going through with it was the safety protocols. You got any word on what the safety protocols are? Was it Was the deal signed or what?
Well, again, really the issue here is them. I mean, you got to remember, look, people chew gum, they chew tobacco, and so naturally there's bodily fluids, so to speak, that get that end up all over the dugout, right? So MLB was trying to really clamp down on just about everything, and it was when I read the list, it was just unrealistic. But as it stands now, there's still no word yet that they're going to move forward.
Right, that's what you're talking about, Major League Baseball.
Yeah. There. I mean, as 10 minutes ago, MLB's holding off on imposing the schedule until the protocols are locked in.
Wow.
Yes, because how are they going to enforce this? The people who they're listen to what they're asking us to do. They're got players right now.
But Brother Rich, hold on, Brother Rich, hold on. Just to let everybody out there that's listening know, you have been saying this before, all the way back when 45 said there was only 26 cases of COVID in the United States. That's been something you've been on that from day one. How are they going to do this? How are players going to do this? What they going to ask their families? And so on and so forth. So I mean, continue. You know what I mean? You was already on this 77 weeks ago. But go ahead.
Well, that's what we do here. That's what we do on this platform. All of us
For sure.
that way. And that was my turn to contribute on that. And I repeat again. How do you tell players? You have players testing positive. You have teams, college teams, where 10, 15 players have tested positive.
Yeah.
That means they can no longer go around their family members.
Yeah.
That means the other team members now have to be tested. And then they say, when you have this, you have to get tested now every day. So everybody has to get tested. Now it's a 14-day. Then every time somebody else gets tested, then that group has to go in the quarantine. How do you achieve this when you cannot put, even the NBA players, when they go to Florida, they're in Orlando, but the people who are serving them, the workers, the people who are going to be setting up the arenas, they're not in quarantine. They have to go home. They have to travel however they travel. Florida is the hottest hotbed of the virus right now. You are asking these players to expose themselves for your entertainment to a deadly virus. Some of these players, they said their wives are pregnant. So because of that, their families won't even be able to travel. Their families, their children who are trying to do online school, who cannot come live in a hotel, they won't be able to take their family. Their families can visit, but they can't live with them. So you're asking these players to leave their families and quarantine to entertain you and I and we and us for months on end.
Oh, and
how realistic is this? So no wonder we're hearing many players say, I'm not doing that. I'll wait till next year. I'll rehab. Or now you have another question where some players are coming up with this. They're saying that the restart is too quick and that because they've been laid off for 3 months, they do not believe it's healthy and advantageous to them and their basketball health to just run out and play full steam basketball again without some kind of camp that would be at least a month long. So
okay.
Some players who are saying, I'm not coming back to play because I'm going to get hurt. And then y'all are not going to cover me when I get hurt. So there's a lot of different moving parts. So I'm not surprised that they haven't, Double J's people at the Pistons haven't responded to him in respect to what they're going to do next year. I'm not surprised we're hearing the MLB has not finalized anything, because what these people are not wanting to give into is what's wrong with our country's leader right now. We will not acquiesce to science. We believe that we can make anything work. We can do anything we want. And so now science has come in and interrupted us, and we don't even want to submit to medical science. Whether we believe this virus came from wherever it came from, whether it came from China, Honduras, or my grandmother's backyard, the fact is that it exists, and we need to respect it because it is in fact very deadly. And the players themselves are aware of this because they know that at any time, for instance, if I have the virus, Nikola Jokic has the virus, he touches a basketball and passes it to me. If the virus is in droplets and Nikola has the virus and he sneezes on his hand or he does any movement, any droplet on him is getting with me. We saw D.L. Hughley. It's a big thing on Twitter. Everyone can Google D.L. Hughley. Just fell out on stage. He didn't even know he had coronavirus. Fell out on stage. a woman in the airport in Jamaica was in the airport, landed in Jamaica, had the coronavirus, fell dead in the airport. People are dropping dead with this. This is not something you play with, that we're going to just play basketball and run around. I would not be surprised if we have some kind of mutiny by Kyrie Irving and others who are pushing that, look, let's do something independent. Let's make an independent move and do this for ourselves. If we're going to sacrifice our lives to do this, let's do something different and make a real social justice move if we're going to play basketball for entertainment.
Yeah, I'm with you 1,000,000% on that. And I don't know why folks, but yeah, I do. I know why folks is killing Kyrie for saying what he's saying, because he said that earth is flat stuff and all of that. And, you know, you can't consider the source and all of that stuff. It's something I would say typically if the situation called for. But in this case, you got to let the truth and what he said in this instance stand on its own merit. Y'all so thirsty for sports, as we all are. But I tell you what, I'd rather have Double J and Brother Rich on this program with me every week than to watch basketball, football, or baseball. And that's just real spit. And ain't no bigger sports fan than me. But to your point, Brother Rich, about what players are saying they're not going to play and whatnot, shout out to Trevor Ariza for opting not to come back and play so that he could spend time with his son, man. I seen that, man. I'm telling you, the crocodiles was almost, they was about to start dropping. But I'm so glad I saw it, because it was right on the heels of a post that had something to do with, you know, men and how basically men ain't this and men ain't that. I ain't about to go into long drawn out detail, but it proved that if you feel like the guys, just because the guys you dealt with ain't itch, that don't mean that we all are. You understand what I'm trying to tell? Because you ain't dealt with me, and you sure ain't dealt with a cat like Ariza, a real type father. Because if it's all about the dollars or whatnot, this COVID done proved it don't matter how much money you got. We done said that before 1,000,000 times. COVID done brought everybody down to everybody else's level. You know what I'm saying? And that man opted to go spend time with his son. Talk about how much money he lost, how much money he stand to lose. He ain't give two cracks thoughts about none of that. I'm going to kick it with my seed. Shout out to Ariza for that. But then to back up something you said a little bit ago, when you talk about drugs and clinical trials and how long they take, D. Gully from C.O. Lumbus is joining us on the show today. Excuse me for saying so many times, y'all, but the thoughts sometimes they come a little bit faster. I get them out. My apologies. Gully, what's the deal?
Everything, man. How you guys doing today?
All right. Better than us, better than me. I'm better than you and Brother Rich and Double J. Don't interrupt me, man. I'm talking. See, there you go.
Gully, how does it feel to be the only member of the show that's actually in Ohio? I mean, we got Dallas, we got Michigan. How does it feel to be? I'm on the West. I represent the West.
Yeah. Oh, y'all just. Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
Wow. This is a crack you up moment, huh? Helen. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I worked for a company, a pharmaceutical company, and you want to talk about the time period in which it takes to get approval and clinical trials and so on and so forth. There were some, and they did injectables. There were some pharmaceuticals, okay? The process, you got to apply for it. Can you start making it? That could take a year. Then if they get approval, it take a year to get that. And then by the time you start making it, from the time you submitted, I forget the term for it, but when you submit, hey, to the main people, okay, we want to start making this drug. From the time you submit it to the time you actually get approval to start manufacturing it, could take what, Gully? About 3 years at minimum. No agreement, no disagreement. Here we go. You just now joined the show and you're not responding. Your phone went out again? Yeah, okay. This guy getting the mute button. But at the end of the day, to your point, Brother Rich, the time period for which something could be found that would be successful in fighting the virus, man, it could take years, man. And with the rate in which the thing hit, it's already got a leg out in front. It's way out in front. It's well out in front. And I'm talking about it's like a Dodge Hellcat. It's way out in front. And you're driving a Miata. I don't know if you can catch it. I don't even know if you can catch up to it, let alone catch up to it to get out in front of it. I'm just saying. That's just me talking, but I don't know nothing, right? Okay, yeah, got you. But, yeah, the safety protocol. So, seeing how they haven't, the 5 o'clock deadline then came and passed. Is that what you're saying, Double J?
Exactly.
Okay, so the 5 o'clock deadline then came and passed, because that was the last portion of this was the safety protocols. They had to fine-tune some stuff, and once the safety protocols was in place, they was going to sign off on it, and it would have been a 60-game season. But, interesting to note, prior to the 5 o'clock deadline, by failing to reach an agreement, in other cases, not other cases, but prior to this point, or, till getting to this point or whatever, players not only forfeit the right to the universal DH in 2021 and to 2020 and 2021, but guaranteed pay if not a full season played, and $25 million playoff pool with forgiveness of March's salary would be gone too. Did that make any sense? Okay, I guess so, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So in other words, it's losses all the way across the board on this. Everybody taking L's. But now y'all see what the little guy feel like. Sorry, not sorry.
Jay, let's not forget, just a little nugget on this is that this would be the shortest season since the 1878 National League season.
Well, guess what? I got 2 words for Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, Cricket League, and all them other leagues, and the fans out there who want sports so bad, but they could care less about what I used to say all the time about the people. It's people inside the uniform. Arnold Rothstein, baby. Okay? Arnold the Gambler Rothstein. This kind of stuff has been going on for years. None of this stuff is completely left up to chance. Oh, well, big do, whoopee do, I'm not crying for you, Mr. Ownership. Now you see what it feel like to be a commodity. Yeah, if you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, the number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, that number is area code 267-687-0026. And we are powered by Rocket Digital, the one-stop shop for all your digital service needs. Up next, let's talk a little bit of NBA, the National Basketball Association. And my man, Lavar Ball, he done made the news once again. Gully, are you back with us or not? What you doing over there? You clipping your toenails? What you doing? You good? You here? You with us?
I'm back with you.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is a regular occurrence? This is a regular occurrence?
Getting everything together.
Is this a regular occurrence?
I just wanted to know, did you guys make it all right back in Dallas here? Just wanted to let
you can't
know.
crack a joke. You can't crack a joke.
Gave me a phone call, so I had to take care of things on my
See, this is what I'm talking about.
I want to make sure you're all good back in Dallas. Okay, great. The satellite station is back on in Jerry's world. All right.
But
cool.
you were the one that was
Very
gone. You were the one that was gone. I never left. What are you talking about? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I mean. People so ready to, you know what I'm saying, try to jump all over Jay's back. I'm not having that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the 72 Dolphins, baby. Yeah. When you get close to the room, then give me a call. But in the meantime, you know what time it is. Okay. Yeah, but I'm glad you're back with us. You know what I mean? Just let me know now if you're going to go, if you need a bathroom break or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Just ring the bell. Ding, ding. Okay. Yeah, my man LeVar Ball then made his rounds again. Now, his first shot at 15 minutes of fame, it didn't go so hot. You know what I'm saying? Some folks was hot on him. Some folks was cool on him. The little Yeezy B-baller shoes didn't do so well. My bad, baby. You know what I mean? I tried to get a pair, but, they didn't give me my EBT card. And ARP don't send me enough. But he done made his rounds again. And this time he said something, man, that I don't know, it's hard to argue against. All right? And easy to argue for. His latest take, LeVar Ball's take, was on the Portland Trailblazers. And, of course, directed at the dynamic duo backcourt of Dame, Dollars, and CJ. Now, I like Dame and I like CJ as players. You know what I mean? And as people, they done spoke their mind, a lot of stuff, man. Hard, again, in that case, hard to argue with stuff that come out their mouth. But I don't know what LeVar said, man. I tried. I flipped it upside down and all the way around and tried to find some type of hiccup in it or something, and I just couldn't. He said, If you look at the Portland Trail Blazers, you got $300 million tied up in two, as in the number of, guards. You ain't never going to win nothing when all the money is tied up in the two players. It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen like that. Ouch. Brother Rich, your thoughts?
Nonsense.
Nonsense, you said?
And I love LaVar Ball.
Okay.
Absolute nonsense. I love LaVar Ball.
What?
What if them two guards are Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, or Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen?
Yeah, but they're not,
And they
though.
paid them that kind of money.
Okay, so you
No,
saying
no,
he should...
but they're not. But here's the thing.
Okay.
Here's the thing. What I'm saying is, can Portland win a ring? No, they cannot. That team is not put together to win a ring, and LeBron knows that. That Portland is not put together to win a ring. Portland is put together for entertainment value for that market, to keep a competitive team there, just like they try to do in a Denver market. Portland exists because they have a consistent fan base, and they want to keep a good team there, and they put some exciting players there. Yeah, no doubt about that. Portland is not the destination that's going to attract free agents. Nobody's trying to go to Portland. I ain't trying to sign in Portland if I'm a free agent. No, you ever been to Portland? That's the first thing
once.
you think about. They never even think about Portland.
It's too close to Seattle. It's always raining and cold there.
Yes, Nike is there, but that's it. Nike. And so after you go to the Nike campus, if you ain't into Nike, you don't go to Portland. You don't even know anything about it. So that team exists, and LeVar knows that team exists for that reason, because he understands the business of basketball. While I'm a fan of LaVar Ball, I think that LaVar Ball has used up the 15 minutes of fame that was rightfully his, that he earned. He did earn it. And instead of playing the back and dealing with his three beautiful sons and being the power broker he can be by playing the back, he chooses to do the Puff Daddy role and always be in the video. He got to be always.
Yeah, he got to be out front. Yeah.
What's going on? Come over here to life, bro, and let's do some. Come on, get out the spotlight, LaVar. We know you now. You wanted to be known. We know everybody knows you now. You can go to the Laker game. You can sit down. You got your sons where you wanted to get. Your other son is about to be a #1 draft pick. So you got it now. Leave these brothers alone. Leave that Damian Lillard alone. Let him get his money. He know why they paying him that money, because he bring lights to that arena every night. Let that man get his bag, and they know what they doing. Every team can't win a championship. Everybody ain't gonna win a title. Let that man get his money. So I totally disagree with him on that.
Well, since you put it that way, I mean, dang, on, brother, I stand corrected. Well, that's what you're here for. You know what I'm saying? I am my brother's keeper, right? All right, we on the same page. All right, good looking out, man. You know what I mean? I had to change.
Brother Rich, I don't know. I gotta challenge that though, because.
Are you with us? Are you challenging? How you challenging something? Are you with us? Are you with us?
There might be an issue. See, listen, see how what we have to do in Ohio. We remain fast.
Yeah,
we don't listen to the noise coming from Dallas. Yeah. So what we do, right? What we do is we keep moving forward. See?
Yeah, y'all also say no to minimum wage for taxpayers too. But who's talking that? Go ahead.
Listen, all right, Brother Rich. My challenge, I guess, my rebuttal to your challenge of what LaVar Ball said is that I maybe take issue with the tone, but
what
Lillard himself,
whose tone
wants to win?
Whose tone? Portland. You take issue with whose tone? LaVar's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The way he said it.
Okay, go ahead.
The way he went about it. I mean, in the way he described it. You know what I mean? It looks like he was. It looks like he was more in. It looks like he was all in Dame Dillard's pocket. When I think if we step back a little bit, the reality of the situation is there's $300 million tied into their front court. Okay, and the best thing.
No, the back court.
Thus far,
the back court.
Get into a conference finals.
It's $300 million tied up into the backcourt.
So, thank you very much for the correction. I'm glad you're still with us here.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
My point is, meanwhile, back at the ranch, to borrow from somebody who say that all the time. My point is,
how dare you?
That if he wants to win a title, I think you got to look at those financial considerations. And you're right. And I think LaVar Ball,
yeah. That's what I'm saying to you. Dame doesn't want to win no title. Who says Dame wants to win a title? Dame knows he's not going to win no title.
He does. He did.
Dame wants to get.
Okay. He wants to remain loyal to Portland.
Exactly. If you ask any player, they'll have to say, "I want to win a title here." If you ask anyone, ask somebody in Denver. Ask them
they're not gonna say.
Do you want to win a title?
Yeah, they're not gonna say.
Andre Drummond, do you want to win a title in Cleveland? Sure, he wants to win a title there. But if he's going to win a title,
no, Brother Rich though. But Brother Rich, but it's Dame's own. I guess he's volunteered statements. Like he wasn't asked questions to which he'd had to give the
response.
He's volunteered his.
Of course he does.
Say it again.
Of course he did. Because Dame believes in himself and his own game. He believes he could win like that. He believes he got enough game to do it. Like we know we love Dame Dollar. He's nice. Dame believes he could win a title like Allen Iverson believed he could win a title in Philly. But is he going to win a title? No, probably not. Probably not. And that money exists because it got to go to somebody, and Portland needs somebody because Portland. This is what I'm saying. LeVar knows the business of basketball. He knows that Portland got to have somebody to fill that arena up every night. Portland knows they're not going to win unless they get the number one draft pick, and it's the next Shaq or the next Kobe, God rest his soul, or the next. Unless they can get Ja Morant to come out there, the next
it's got to be
kind of player,
or a Zion. Tell you the truth, it's got to be an impact, a definite guy impact, is what you're saying, right?
Fact. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's got to be a bona fide.
Absolute fact. Absolute fact.
But to Gully, I think where you going with it is, you're right. You know, in an ordinary situation, having all your money's tied up into two players, from a generic standpoint, you like, why would you do that? But in that case, Dame, if not CJ, or both of them really, they speak to that, the gate being the 40%, the fan base being the 40% of the league's revenues and such. You get what I'm saying? They know that if these type of two dudes ain't coming there, they not coming. You know, we ain't gonna see these type of dudes, but every so often. You know what I mean? So we got to get them the bulk of the money because these dudes is the large reason why.
We say about the NBA.
The seats is filled. It's full.
Player-driven.
It's a player-driven league. Yeah, it is.
The players drive the NBA. The players drive the NBA. You have to pay some player. Every team has some player that's overpaid. Every team has some guy sitting on the bench that's making $20 million a year that scored 3 points last year. But because of the salary cap, because they have this money and they have to spend it, no matter what, they have to give these salaries to somebody. So when a player like Dame comes up to be re-signed in the market, they're not going to let him go. They know they're not going to win a title, and they know they're not going to sign no free agent unless they get his best friend. Unless Antetokounmpo becomes his best friend tomorrow and decides, I'm going to go to Portland and win a title with my man. After that, they're not going to win anything there. They're never going to be bad enough to get the number one pick, and they're never going to be good enough to really win it. They're a market that exists like San Diego existed in football as a market that just existed to keep that fan base satiated. Everybody knew they were never going to win anything there. And so they had to come to the competitive market where you must win in the LA market. You got to come here and fight to win. San Diego, they could just play football and have games that sit in the sun every Sunday, and nobody cares whether they won. You can't do that in these New York markets. That's why everybody talks about all the money that goes into the New York market. All these years, they're not winning. Look at Boston. How many people they paying? Look how much they can. They got to re-up Tatum. They got to re-up their whole squad. They can really throw money at them because the call is to win in Boston. But if they don't win, nobody's going to say, why are they paying those guys there? Everybody know they're trying to win in Boston. But you got to pay somebody this money with these contracts when they re-up. And this is what I'm saying. The business of basketball was what Lavar Ball understood. So he should have zipped his lip on that one right there.
Double J, what's your thoughts?
Well, I have conflicting thoughts, and the reason why, just like Brother Rich pointed out, that ultimately you got to put butts in seats. We just talked about in the last segment how important that is when it comes to gate fees. So when it comes to particular markets, absolutely that's significant. Now, despite that being said, this is a guard-driven league. But we've had two examples on the opposite coast of one another that simply haven't worked in reaching the promised land, that being Washington with Beal and Wall, and then, of course, here, the example we're talking about right now with Portland. And so it's because LeVar Ball can stand on that limb because he's had time to see what we've all seen, which is the West being as competitive as it is.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to put CJ and Dame in the East outside of Milwaukee, you could make a case that team would be good enough to compete in the Eastern Conference Finals and or make it to the NBA Finals and represent that particular conference. But
so wait a minute. So
again,
wait. So
throw that stone.
So hold that thought.
Golden State that there's LeBron. Okay.
Hold that thought. So as it stands, because the West, basically what you're saying is so oversaturated, as it stands, Portland is just spinning their wheels. They're a 50, 55 win team every year, keep the numbers up, but they're not really going to compete for nothing greater than because they're in the West.
Fact.
Okay.
Those are the facts as they are. We know that. We've been watching NBA basketball all our lives. When has Portland been a team that threatened? And when have we ever looked to them? We know they're going to be nice every year. We know they're going to be nice. But until we can remember back as far back as who? When did they have a squad that we thought, man, Portland really, really can win the ring this year? When? The Jordan era?
Yeah, when Scotty did that.
2000.
Yeah, but that team was stacked though from 1 through 12. That's why you thought they could win.
Correct.
That's why.
That's why they did that.
Yeah, it wasn't just 2 guys on that team. Everybody on that squad could hurt you. The cats coming off the bench could have been a starting 5 in most places.
Correct.
During that year. What'd you say, Gully? 2000? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 2000.
He's talking about the Scottie Pippen,
Brian Grant, Bonzi Wells, Rasheed Wallace, Jermaine O'Neal, Damon Stoudemire. Was Sabonis still there too at the end? No, not
yes,
that.
He was.
Was he?
Sabonis
I thought.
Was there.
Yeah, Sabonis was there at the end. Okay.
Yeah, Sabonis. Zebo was there as well.
Yeah. Did I mention Brian Grant? It was somebody else there too, man. Stacey Augmon was there too.
Yeah, he was there too. Everybody was
there.
there.
And Greg Anthony, I think.
Everybody was there.
Yeah, man, that squad was loaded, like some potato skins. Baby-esque, I was loaded. But yeah, I'm with you. I think in any other. Steve Smith. Oh, how can I? Oh, my boy Scrimp. Man, Detlef was he was boy.
Greg Anthony was on that team.
Yeah, I mentioned Greg Anthony.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that squad was loaded. Everybody talking about super team. That was a legit super team. For real, that was a super team. That whole squad could hurt you. You know what I mean? But then y'all know what happened. Shaq and Kobe. Anyway, yeah, it took Superman to defeat the dark side. That Lakers squad, from top to bottom, when we talk matchups, because that's really what one of the key components is in the playoffs. That Lakers squad, 1 through 12, wasn't what that Portland squad was. Not 1 through 12. Now y'all can look that up if y'all want to. I'm going off the top of my dome, and I have senior moments. I'll be the first one to tell you that, but there ain't no senior moment on that one. Who the Lakers have on that squad? Medvedenko, Barbershop J. Who after 2 surgeries? Who the Lakers have on that squad? Shaq and Kobe. KB great 24-8, but I'm not gonna go down that road right now. Y'all know how I feel about my boy. Yeah. But I get what LeVar is saying. In any other case, yeah, you got a lot of money tied up in the Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? And he ain't got no receivers. I get it from theoretical or philosophical standpoint, but you got to almost kind of do that in this case with these guys, because otherwise you ain't gonna get them many folks in the seats. Not in Portland, and they was selling out. I don't know if they selling out there now, but it used to be that was one of the few places on any given night when they was hooping. The seats would actually be bodies in them. Brother Rich, remember I used to tell you a couple years ago how they used to look like they turned the lights down, the squad of seats empty. In some of these arenas that, all these teams are supposed to be fantabulous and all of that. So, yeah, it's all to the good. But we'll see.
But if I remember that, I could have swore there was an article that came out like within this month about that particular team. Can't remember which player was reflecting on it. You guys would probably remember better than I would who was a rookie on that team. It might have been Zach Randolph.
That
and
you talking about that 2000 team?
It was
Yeah.
It was an absolute, like, they were fighting each other. There was all types of it was chaos. It was chaos. It's unbelievable that they won as many games as they did, despite us all realizing that from a video game standpoint, that was you couldn't construct a better team than that.
You sure couldn't.
Top to bottom, as you pointed out.
Yeah, you sure couldn't. Well, back then, I think what derailed that squad was the egos. The egos was running rampant. And then that, to you and Brother Richard's point, is where a guy like Phil Jackson would have came in nicely, I think. You know what I mean? Phil would have had everybody at his house, talking on his end. Come on, fellas, can't we just all get along?
Right.
Hit that right there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what, Zebo, man, my bad, man. I ain't mean to punch you in the IBA, man. I ain't mean to kick you in the leg, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go on. We brothers, man. Phil would have got in everybody's heads and had everybody on the same beat, baby. You know what I mean? But it was a lot of egos jumping off, man. It was, especially with Rasheed Wallace. I mean, you want to talk about a guy, in my opinion, who didn't get the most out of what he could have been. I mean, from Carolina all the way up through the NBA, man. She was a problem. He would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer if he hadn't. When you think about Rasheed Wallace, the first thing to come to mind, unfortunately, are the antics. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to the ability. But if you watch North Carolina especially, or Rasheed Wallace, forget it. Period. Man, he was a problem for anybody in the league. And since we on the subject, lightweight, let me throw this out there at y'all. Just from a skill position, at his position, what couldn't he do?
Right.
What couldn't he do?
Better than Kevin McHale.
That's what I'm trying to say. What couldn't he do? Drop step. Either he could go over either shoulder with a hook, baby hook, up and under, rebound. Mid range.
Don't forget that fadeaway.
I was just thank you, Double J, brother Double J. You took the words out of my mouth right there. I'm gonna say what couldn't he do? He was. Everybody talk about Melo. With all due respect, I'm a Melo. He put Syracuse on his back in the first half, and then in the second half said, "Okay, now the rest of y'all go eat." So I'm Melo out. But everybody talk about what Melo bring to the table. Man, she was a problem. But every now and again he would get into it with the refs, man. And
don't compare those two.
No, Double J. I knew you was gonna do that. No, I'm not comparing them. I said if people think Melo was a problem, meaning Melo had the jab step, the up. He had an assortment. He had an array of stuff he could go to, regardless of where he was at on the floor. Is that better, Double J? Is that better?
You know what? For the youth out there, Melo was the fun size Rasheed Wallace.
Oh my gosh, I'm not. You do this every week. I'm not comparing them. I'm saying from us.
Why not? Why aren't you comparing them?
Because Double J getting ready to start something.
I don't like the idea overall that you can't say a guy who may be coming into the league. Let's say a guy you might see now, a guy like a Kawhi Leonard. I don't like the fact that it seems like almost blasphemous to say, oh, well, you know what? Kawhi Leonard could be the next Jordan. Why not? We're talking about 94 feet. We're talking about maybe what you might see consistently in terms of the way they play the game or how they produce or the moments that they have. Why couldn't you say that Melo and Sheed have parallels to one another? It's not at all. And be a comparison. Why can't you say that and have it be a comparison and it be kind of like considered just a comparison? Like I don't really. For me, I don't think that it's really fair that you can't compare guys, especially in eras not too far from each other, to say it and feel like you're disrespecting the guy who's greater or saying that the guy who came after could never be has greater or greater. I feel
okay,
like
that's
if
fair.
you want to say that Melo and Sheed have comparisons, then say that because I think it's actually worth saying. I think those are guys that perhaps. The one parallel I have is Rasheed Wallace did get a title and he did go to the Pistons. Did go to the Pistons, to have his best postseason success in his career. Certainly, importantly, he could have had that. Much like Melo, when he was in Denver, he could have had that. But maybe that's not even the type of comparison you want to make. But I just feel like if you want to say that they compared it to, go ahead and do that.
No, and that's just it.
I think, Gully, I think it is accurate offensively. The way Melo could pull up for three is very comparable to the way that a kick-out ball would in Rasheed would be able to spot up like that. The way that they can create shots, there are similarities in the game on the offensive side of the ball. But that's really where it lives and dies, that these are two totally different caliber of players. The tools of Rasheed simply Melo didn't have, despite, again, he was good player, still obviously playing today, but it's different classes. It's almost like saying, Mercedes makes a micro car, versus a 7 series. It's just not the same.
Okay, but all I'm saying, I'll put it like this. I'm with you, Gully. Right? Why do we have to tiptoe around comparisons? From me, I just don't like doing them because I like every player to stand on his own individual merit. Just me. What I will compare is the skill set. Okay, you can have the same tools in your toolbox that I do. That's what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, when both of them guys had their heads in it, what could you do to stop them? Oh, silence speaks the loudest. Nothing. That's
about those playoff series against the Lakers when Rasheed was with Portland.
I mean, come on now. Come on now. That's all I'm saying. In either case, I will compare when them guys, when they head was in the game. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, you got a problem. Matter of fact, Coach, who I'm guarding tonight? You guard Melo. Ah, man, what's wrong? I think I pulled something. What you mean? You just came from the trainer's room. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You didn't want that. You wasn't ready for that assignment. You wasn't raising your hand. Ooh, pick me first. You wasn't doing that. You was sliding to the back of the room, pulling your hat down. You know what I mean? Like a Hollywood starlet or something. You know what I mean? Trying not to be seen on the movie scene. Okay, come on, man. She was a dog, baby. She was a dog. But it's a fair point, though, Gully. I ain't gonna trip on you on that. You're right. Because there's too much of that, too. You know what I mean? Well, then we don't, So I'm not really comparing the players. I'm just comparing, what they had in their toolboxes. If you're up and around, you're out and about, we're in the last portion of the P-Rogram. You want to give us a call. That number to call is area code 267-687-0026. Once again, that number to call is area code 267-687-0026. And as always, the Shop Report is powered by Rocket Digital, the one-stop shop for all of your digital service needs. All right, this last one, fellas, comes to us from a few weeks back, and my man, Chris Broussard. I wanted to discuss this, when I was in high school with Abe Lincoln. That's how long we've been sitting on this one. But, of course, with the COVID and whatnot and a few other things and the protests and so on and so forth, they took precedent. So we revisit. We go back to what Broussard said, or a statement he made, which I thought when I read it, oh, my gosh, I dropped my phone and cracked it. But I dropped my phone on carpet and cracked it. That's how fast it fell out my hands, right? Chris Broussard went on national television and said that Steph Curry was better than Allen Iverson. And I was looking to see if he was just, if it was maybe more details to read, more comments to come later. I'm like, whoa, you just going to leave that right there like that? I said, that's clickbait. But I took the bait, and I'm bringing it to you all right here on the P-Rogram today. So, Brother Rich, we coming your way. Because you're a Steph Curry advocate.
By saying Chris, you started off wrong by saying Chris Broussard and then said that he said something about basketball. So right there, for all the listening audience, he was wrong. You're wrong whenever you open your mouth and say that's like saying James Harden and winning basketball in the same sentence. So Chris Broussard.
Ooh, that's cold-blooded.
Basketball, what he knows about basketball. Chris Broussard is an absolute functional illiterate when it comes to the game of basketball.
Dang.
And he's a guesser. Like so many of the well-paid guessers on television. He's a guesser. And that is a nonsense commentary. Is Steph Curry a better shooter than Allen Iverson? Without question. Is he a better basketball player? Not on this or any other extraterrestrial planet. Is he a better basketball player any day of the week than Allen Iverson? Point blank, period.
You mean extraterrestrial planet like the one Sanaa Lathan was on? In Predators versus Aliens? Yeah. Okay, got you. Yeah. Non-stop action.
Brother Rich.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Why what?
No, why? Why is Allen Iverson a better player than?
No. I'm not just saying he's a better player. I'm saying he's a better basketball player than Steph Curry. And here's what I mean by that.
Well, yeah, that's the only thing I can say.
I reduce it to this very simple equation here. The game of basketball, contrary to popular opinion, is not dribbling. It is not running around and doing fancy moves. It is one's ability to put a round ball in a basket. And to the degree that I can dribble, shoot, get around you, whatever mechanism, maybe my height gives me an advantage, maybe I'm a better shooter than you, maybe I can move some tricks with the basketball and confuse you and get around you. But at the end of the day, it is my ability to get past you and get to the basket. So when I say he's a better basketball player, I'm saying that if you put Allen Iverson on a basketball court facing one Steph Curry, absent Steph Curry's handles, when it came to Steph Curry's ability to stop Allen Iverson, Steph Curry cannot stop Allen Iverson. I believe that if Allen Iverson puts his mind to it, he can stop Steph Curry because Steph Curry will stop himself.
Fact. Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, and I'm gonna tell you why. Steph is no question. Steph is legit. I'm a Steph head to a certain degree because if you look at the scouting report when Steph was coming out, prior to coming to the NBA, the scouting report is 100% contrary to what he actually is today. You know what I mean? No, all the so-called experts had him. Oh, he had all Fs coming out, but Allen Iverson, man, that dude was a pure athlete. The man was number one in football and basketball in high school in Pennsylvania. I mean, right. the dude, he used to dribble a football. Where they do that at? And that's not to knock Steph. Then on the flip side, Allen Iverson played in an era, man, where the paint was ruled by giants. And them giants was legit. We talking about Rick Smits, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Doherty, for lack of a better center term or word. Them centers back then, boy, you had to. That's if you even got into the paint after getting chopped up on your way to getting to the paint. And he got knocked down, beat up, dragged, and all of that, and kept getting back up. If you look, and this is not a knock against Steph per se. It's just the way the game looked today. That's all. That's what it's going to keep coming back to. Man, there ain't nobody in the middle of the paint nowadays, man. Ain't nobody in the middle of the paint, man. Ain't nobody in the middle. The paint is wide empty. It's wide empty.
The rule, and Gully, look at it, just the way the game is played. You're talking about Iverson being a driving scorer. So his career best, our career percentage for 3 points being 31%, with Steph being at 43%. But yet Iverson still has an 8,000-point lead between the two in terms of points scored. Additionally, other than Michael Jordan, Iverson is on the list for steals leader for the league 3 times. So we're talking about complete players here. So when you guys said this one-on-one comparison, Steph can't play defense.
Yeah.
And, that's been pointed out in playoff series after playoff series. And in a world at that point in time, or an era rather, with dominant big men, Hall of Fame big men across the board, everyone from Karl Malone to David Robinson,
Tim Duncan,
the folks you just mentioned.
Oh, Shaq too.
Don't forget him. To say that Iverson was able to score in the manner that he was able to do so, the fact that he was able to lead the league in steals 3 times, that he was the scoring leader 4 times in an era that was not around center, focused around the 3-point line or in very, very close, basically off rebounds inside of the paint, in an era that included the mid-range game, really, really says this is a lopsided comparison.
Well, I don't know, Double.
And I mean, it's such a silly conversation that I wonder what Broussard is looking at. He's part of the media conglomeracy that helped to destroy Allen Iverson's reputation and made Allen Iverson to be the NBA's bad boy because he was such a popular, but an outsider kind of athlete, a throwback, a rebel kind of athlete. Allen Iverson is the guy who took the Philadelphia 76ers to the NBA final against the powerhouse Lakers and won a game by himself surrounded by a bunch of role players, some scrubs. He took them to that. Steph Curry couldn't take his team nowhere by himself. They had to gang up on people. Steph Curry, who in the fourth quarter has never delivered his team at any. We don't have no Steph Curry memories for as good as he is in clutch times. We don't have no memories with all the trick shots, and he can shoot from the bathroom. He can shoot from the opposing team's locker. He can shoot from the parking lot. He can close his eyes and shoot from his grandmother's backyard, but he can't do it when it counts. And you let LeBron run you out your own gym and win you and come back and clock you? This is the Steph Curry we're talking about? No, this can't be a serious basketball conversation. When we got Allen Iverson, I right here in your hotel, I hate to name drop, right there in your city, in your state, Gully, where you are, down in Cleveland, in that hotel, I heard Shaquille O'Neal tell us straight to our faces that the league hated Allen Iverson. They hated him so much, they changed rules. They had to deal with handshaking rules. And they did that. Stuff just for that young man because he was so serious on the basketball court. Shaq said the only way you could stop him coming in the middle is knocking him down. This is a man who led the league in scoring, who became an MVP as the littlest player in the league.
Yeah, he was, and you want to talk about
Steph Curry would never cross Michael Jordan
on 100,000 weekends.
Yeah, because he didn't do it to Kevin Love. I'm sorry. And that ain't no knock against Steph. Now let me throw this in too right quick. Brother Richards is speaking vehemently to this subject here, but he is a proponent of the Warriors. He's not against the Warriors. He used to call me off air all the time.
I live in the Golden State. I'm a Warriors fan. I love Steph Curry. Steph Curry's nice, but he ain't Allen Iverson. We're not gonna get carried away with our admiration.
Yeah, and let me throw this out there too. Just imagine this. At the top of the key, Allen Iverson. He do what he got to do to get past the first defender because there's no wasted motion with AI. And no disrespect to Steph and Kyrie and guys like that, but a lot of these dudes that's so good with their handles, when they be dribbling, they remind me of a marionette. They doing too much. Back then, you couldn't play around like that because when Iverson got past the initial defender, he had 2 other 3 dudes waiting on him. These dudes in the league now, they get past the first dude who waiting on them. Draymond Green? Yeah, okay, I got you. Ryan Hollins? Okay. Okay, I got you. Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, woo.
You got NBA players giving up their dribble saying, what is this? Don't double team me. An NBA player.
Yeah, I still can't believe that. I still can't believe that. Yeah, we don't do no doubling in practice. What? Man, sit down.
Well, see that in the end. I think my question sounded like a challenge to you, to as if I agree. Truth be told, I don't agree, but I think I don't think that I really.
You just wanted to hear our thoughts on it.
Has eloquent an argument for why Allen Iverson is better because I was going to look at. I was going to look at me. I enjoyed it.
What?
Yeah, for sure. Now I will say in Steph's defense. I know you talked about basketball being you talked about the game of basketball and the fact that Allen Iverson does more with the ball or to defend the ball ultimately than Steph Curry. I think though it's something to be remarked about Steph Curry's, let's say, Steph Curry's level, I guess maybe of team leadership, perhaps. I don't know that, and I want to say it. I want to be very careful how I say it to make sure that I don't dismiss the fact that Allen Iverson was definitely definitely an unconventional leader, per se. I would say he's definitely an unconventional leader, but I think people take to heart that he was selfish. I don't think he was as selfish as people think, but I think there's something about Steph Curry's leadership for a team.
But that's not in question.
Yeah,
but that's not in question. Nobody's questioning that. Remember now, Broussard laid it out and left it there. Ambiguous as all get out. That's why I call it clickbait. He said Steph Curry is a better basketball player than Allen Iverson. He didn't specify leadership. He didn't specify jump shooter. He didn't, like this other post I seen the other day about black men, but I ain't going to get into that. This is why wordplay and placement and all of that is critical. You can't just, unless you're doing it because you're a shock jock, okay? You looked at your Alexa ratings and they down, so you say, okay, let me get my numbers back up. Let me throw this out there. That's why I called it clickbait, because it's no way in the world, and it's not a knock on Steph to say that he's not better than AI as a basketball player overall or whatnot. But to me, what factors into that, Iverson being better, is, once again, my argument for all of this era versus that era. It's the degree of difficulty. I'm impressed, and I'm using boxing as an analogy, as I always do in this case whenever this comes up. I'm impressed with the guy who's 30-0. I mean, before I look at who he's fought. When I look at the guy who's 30-0 and I see that he a junior welterweight, but even fighting second graders, But the guy who's 25-5, and I look at the fact that he done fought Mike Tyson, Tony Tucker, Marvin Hagler, Bernard Hopkins, and Dale. I'm like, okay, well then that's okay. Well, that's that look a little different to me. The degree of difficulty that Allen Iverson had to face on a night-to-night basis, and we talk about Eric Snow was your point guard. No offense, I went to his Full Court Fathers Foundation. Great guy, Canton McKinley, all of that. But from a production standpoint, it was really 5-on-4 every night with Eric Snow at the point. Then Dikembe. Everybody give him, really, no disrespect to him, but they give him far more credit than he deserved, really, for being on that team, quote unquote. He was Defensive Player of the Year, but he was not no offensive. Not no offensive stalwart. Who other than Allen Iverson had enough offensive punch that you could count on in the finals? And let's not forget what Herm told us. Even though it's football, the same philosophy applies. He said when you go to the regular season, it's a certain level. It's at level 5. When you get to the first round of the playoffs, it's at level 7. And as you advance through all the way to the Super Bowl, it's at level 99 by that. So when you get to the finals, the level of pressure is there. It's there. So, and then you need a guy from an offensive in order to try to win in the 4 games out of 7 or whatever the case may be, and you go 7 games or whatever it is to keep that offensive punch and maintain it or whatnot. Who Aaron McKee? Who else on that Philadelphia squad the year they played listen, I don't know who. Let's say who was the third scorer for the Lakers on that. In that finals, Ron Harper. Was Ron Harper on that team? Let's put Kobe and Shaq on the bench. The third scorer on that team had Allen Iverson. Listen, the Lakers had far more offensive prowess than what the 76ers had. Allen Iverson was matching them dudes by himself.
We had bench players that would have been starters on the Lakers.
That's what I'm saying on the Sixers. Yeah,
on the Sixers.
Yeah,
they would have started on the Sixers.
Man, come on, man. And then who you had? Jermaine Jones. Oh, and who was the other guy that played with us with the Cavs? Tyrone something. Was he on that squad? No other Philly player.
Tyronn McKee.
I said Aaron McKee. No, yeah, Tyronn Lue. That he might. Yeah, Tyronn. No, he was something. Number he was played for us.
You meant Tyrone Hill.
Tyrone Hill. Thank you. Appreciate
Hill.
Tyrone Hill. Everybody want to talk about the other guy and how he always leading bums. Nobody on that Philadelphia squad could provide the offensive punch necessary to win 4 games, to win the finals, let alone the one game that he won or that they won. Man, come on, man. Like I said, I liked Eric McKee. He was nice dude. But you couldn't count him. He wasn't consistent. Man, now maybe if Allen would have had Eddie Jones with him or something, or Larry Johnson maybe. Heck, Earl Boykins even. He might have had a shot. You know what I'm saying? And no offense to Earl, that's my boy. Yeah, that's my boy all day long. But come on, man. Allen Iverson was producing. He was producing on that squad that year. Kudos to them for even winning 1 game. You know what I mean? Take his point production off of there. What the 76ers averaging? What the Jazz did in setting a playoff finals low against the Bulls, 54 points maybe? Man, it wouldn't even been in that, man. I'd have rather seen the Spurs and the Knicks all over again. What, 99? What was that? Well, yeah. When the scores was 17-15, yeah, holla at your boy. Chris was dead wrong for that, man. He was dead wrong. And I get why you were saying why, but he was dead wrong for that, man. He was trying to get some likes. And it's sad for a guy that's getting paid to do it, when you got to stoop to that level just to get likes. That's sad. That's all the way sad. So,
well, and you know what? He's somebody, too, that has gone on record on multiple times trying to tell kids, hey, go watch YouTube highlights of this guy and that guy, pay attention, kids. And for him to make that statement, it was just like, throw it all away.
Yeah.
That got to be the silliest thing somebody has said in a long time. Come on, man.
Yeah.
What do we remember as basketball people? What is Steph Curry's go-to moment in our lives? When we know what AI did those years that we watched him play, and we know what he did in that 2001 championship when he was up against him and a couple of scrubs went against the powerhouse Lakers and all that entailed, and the greatest coach probably in the history of the NBA. This is who he went up against. Tell me Steph Curry's point. Where's his game that we can say, oh, man, in this game, Steph went off? We got games where we can say Bron went off. I don't know no game where we can say Steph went off, where we were looking to Steph. We were all looking to Steph in that series where he led the team come back. When they put Draymond Green out, you talking about leaders of the team. Draymond Green was the leader of that team, and everybody knew that he was the emotional leader. Steph is the person. He's the man. You up 3-1. And just because Draymond Green don't play Game 5, you lose the series? Come on.
Oh.
Nah, you can't.
Oh, that's an interesting tidbit of information. Oh my goodness. Oh, Brother Rich. Yeah, next time you see Broussard, man, tell him you get at him, then tell him I'll be to see him next. He can't come out on national television area and say nothing crazy like that on no television airwaves. But yeah, fellas, I'm me, I'm in total agreement. And I'm a Steph Curry head. If for no other reason, what they said he wasn't going to be and what he is now. See, you know me, I'm for the underdog. Even though his daddy was famous, that don't mean that he was famous. That's why I ain't with all these dudes, these little young dudes who got these famous names. Everybody want to rank them number 1, number 2, number 3 and all of that. And I'm like, okay, but, my son showed me some videos of some cats, and I ain't going to name no names. And I was like, I'm not impressed at all on the high school scene.
I've got a question for you, though. I got a challenge for you, though. Did Allen Iverson change the game of basketball? Absolutely he did. Because okay. Absolutely. You say Allen Iverson changed the game of basketball. Absolutely.
But hold on, Brother Rich. Okay. Hold on, Brother Rich, because he's going somewhere with this.
If he changed the game of basketball.
Yeah, I knew you was going to go somewhere crazy with this.
How is it possible that only a generation removed, we don't see that in commonplace? We see more. Yeah. How come we don't see that more?
No, Kicks, finish that, because I like where you're going with that.
That's what I will say.
Yeah, I like where you're going with that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I'm talking about you, Gully. Finish that. I like where you're going with it.
Yeah, because because here's what I mean by that. When I think of Allen Iverson as a player, for me, I think of a guy who I think of a guy in the league now who I think is most representative of an all-around game like Allen Iverson. And you know where I'm going with this, Jay. It would be a guy like Kawhi Leonard. But in today's game, guys like Kawhi Leonard are thought of as two-way players. And that's like a niche player. But there are more guys who are one-dimensional and celebrated for it more akin to a Steph Curry, and that's more commonplace.
That's why I keep saying it's bass backwards. The game is basketball now. It ain't basketball, but the way if you let the water cooler folks have their way, then they'll have you thinking that what you're seeing is what should be, and it's not. That's why we do what we do here. Okay, somebody has to be the anti-foolery, anti-shenanigans, the tomfoolery.
There's less of that caliber of player out there, and I think that's what's being forgotten here is that it is easier to create a three-point shooter than it is to create as you're saying, with Kawhi, a two-way player, or ultimately just a fundamental athlete. Like
a guy who is assertive on both ends of the floor, right? Like Allen Iverson, for example. I think you might have hinted at it too. I mean, it's a travesty that he led the league in steals and 3 times. He's never been on an all defensive team. That right there speaks to exactly Shaq's point that he told to you, Brother Rich, that the league hated him. Nonetheless, when we look at the makeup of the league now in terms of that type of player, it's sort of unfortunate that we don't see more tenacious players like an Allen Iverson, but we see more guys more supremely skilled, if you will. But I say supremely skilled, like they're more known for their skill, like a Steph Curry, than an all-around.
Nah.
I love where you're going with this because this takes us back to that AAU talk and the skill and will conversation. And what's being
here we go.
And this chicks dig the long shot era of basketball.
Yeah, but
we, again, being a pure athlete.
Yeah, but wait a minute, Double J. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, AAU is definitely a culprit. But remember now, Greg Pop. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. What Greg Popovich said, guys, for the most part, I will put my finger on this, and I will keep my finger on this. Once fantasy sports became what they are now, guys were playing more so to their points per game. Guys were playing to the numbers. That's why guys come down and shoot threes 1-on-5. That's why they take 90 to get 40. That's why you got James Harden. These guys are playing to the fantasy numbers. If the fantasy players, and I ain't knocking the fantasy players, but FanDuel, when FanDuel and DraftKings and them like the likes can start buying other people out, it done went from $2 to $2 big bucks. Shucks, just to get in DraftKings alone, you got to have. It used to be $100. Now you got to have $350 or something like that to just get in. And they want it directly out your bank account before you start playing anything. Or $250 or something or another like that. It's crazy. That's what these dudes. Listen. When I talk about the style of play, when I say watch the game, put the mute on and watch the game. When a shot goes up from your favorite team, whoever your favorite team is, don't watch the ball as it's in the air. Watch the players who looking up to see where the ball is going. The first rule of thumb that you were taught or that you learned when the shot goes up is the rebounding drill. Nobody touches the ball. You go to the body of the opposition first to get your position, then you look for the ball. These guys don't do that. These guys will shot go up, the other guy.
You got to be careful with that one. You got to be careful with that one with the rebounding. You got to be careful with that one.
What you mean?
That's not a good example.
It is a good example.
It's not a good example.
Listen,
It's not a good example.
No.
And the architect of the change of that, the architect of that is Greg Popovich himself about not crashing the board. Because when the game started changing, I think it has to do probably with the Suns with Mike D'Antoni and the trend stopping the break. Crashing the boards made you vulnerable to breaks. And so
you missing me. I'm not saying crash the boards. That's the problem.
A newer approach that actually helped change the game.
You're missing the point. I'm not talking about that's you making my point actually. That's the problem. I'm not talking about when the ball goes up. I'm not talking about nobody. You don't go to crash the boards. When a shot goes up.
No. You don't even go after the ball. No, when the shot goes up, they get back on defense.
But you don't understand.
They don't go for the ball at all.
But listen, what I'm trying to listen.
They immediately go. Yeah, they immediately go to the defense.
And I'm telling you why they go to defense. Because even when they go to defense, they're not playing it. They're not playing it down on that end. What I'm saying to you is, if go ask any coach, go ask Nolan Richardson's and Mike Krzyzewski's and all of them and the Bobby Knights what the rebounding drill is. Go YouTube what the rebounding drill is. The rebounding drill is not about crashing the boards. It's about getting to a body first. That's the first element to rebounding. If guys in this day and age went to the body first to rebound, they would still be able to get out on the breaks. They running back down there because they done sliced off an element of the game because everybody is playing to basketball styles. Everybody want to hurry up and get theirs. Greg Popovich himself said, guys, it ain't even about the fundamentals no more. Guys come over to the scorer's table and be like, how many I got this quarter? How many more do I need? And he ain't talking about, he said, ain't even talking about, you go look it up, he said it. We talked about it on the show a couple weeks back. They ain't even talking about how many rebounds I got or how many assists or how the other stuff that really, if you do that right, you could get to your wins and faster. You'll have more wins than you do losses. He said, how many points I got, man? Because somebody done said, hey, man, I got 50,000 riding on you. I need you to get 40 tonight. Now tell me why I'm lying. I'm waiting.
But Jay, this is, you got to understand, this is what eliminated and completely changed the game. So if you want to hold the 2004 Phoenix Suns accountable for the same way that those occasionally like to say that the diplomats ruined hip hop, that's where, again, it's completely subjective, but there's proof here. And look what D'Antoni did with Houston presently by going with small ball again. And so this is time and time again, this is the whole league adapted to that because they were getting killed. Now, did the Suns ever win a title? No. But they won a heck of a lot of regular season games. They had a couple league MVPs. Everybody got paid that was on that team, including Amari, who was their biggest.
Yeah, Roger Bell got paid too.
If you will. So that's what I'm saying. We can literally make the case right now and break the news. If one of you guys wants to type that blog or article and say that the 2004 Phoenix Suns killed the NBA, and we can list how the game has changed since and who it's opened the door for, then there's a case to be made here.
Yeah,
because to your point, every big guy that is, again, we've seen big guys with handles like Anthony Davis, but again, he had a growth spurt. Kevin Durant had a growth spurt. They were point guards.
Yeah, but Anthony Davis is a 5'2" player, though. Anthony Davis is a 5'2" player. He can hurt you in a myriad of ways.
That's correct. But what I'm saying is it comes naturally to him. But for everyone else that is being taught that rebounding is almost irrelevant, with maybe defensive rebounding, that's about it. If that's even such a thing, there's a reason Russell Westbrook was able to average a triple-double because everyone got out of his way. And, again, I'm not going to tell you how tall he is, but he's certainly not Dikembe Mutombo.
Well, yeah, obviously not. He's not Mutombo.
The only way that's possible is based off of what you're saying because let's face it, if I was playing against Oklahoma City and I understood that, look, they're going to get out of the way to allow this little guy to rebound the ball. Wouldn't you think that, and we talk about second chance points, is that a thing of the past? Like, are we really that old?
Well, no, yeah, no.
And I believe the league itself is going to recognize this. and that's what's going to change it back.
You know what? But you know what? How a scoring could be increased if guys follow their shots. You know how many putbacks of guys who don't follow their shots could get their own rebounds and put the shot. They could get 10, 12 points off of that. They don't even do that. You got guys like Swaggy P. Shoot the ball, then turn around and do whatever he did, and the thing didn't even go in. Man, if you go get your shot, you get your points per game. Easy. But, man, they playing to the pageantry to me, man, for the most part. I know this. I'm going to always go back to this. And then regardless of who's at fault for it, but that's when people say the game has evolved, I'm always going to be in disagreement with that. All I know is you cannot turn an NBA contest on unless it's the playoffs and watch it from start to finish without falling asleep. You couldn't. I guarantee you wouldn't do that in the 90s. Guaranteed. Now tell me I'm lying. And how many other times have we mentioned on this program right here at this shop right here about that?
Right.
The NBA ticket, when it first hit the scene, you had to sell your grandmama, your auntie, and the barbecue grill just to get a month's worth of NBA TV or whatever the package. Now the package is selling little, like they do at the corner store in some Cleveland neighborhoods. They sell cigarettes, singles. They ain't selling the pack. They selling the singles. They selling you the fourth quarter now. Explain to me why you can't sit through, and it could be your favorite team. You got your team jersey on and your popcorn, and you still ain't sitting watching the game from first quarter through the fourth. Unless it's the playoffs. And depend on the matchups, you might not even be watching that then. Now explain that to me. Explain that. Please, somebody help me out. But the game has evolved. Oh, but the fan has not? I'm trying to help me. I'm trying to see how one don't go with the other. You cannot watch an NBA game even if it's a marquee game. I know dudes telling me I'm recorded, man. I watched. All I really want to see is the fourth quarter. I'm gonna fast forward to the fourth quarter. Okay. All right. You wasn't doing that in the 90s, baby. In a preseason game, Doc and Bird was throwing hands. Oh, stop me when I'm lying. Somebody stop me when I'm lying. Boy, y'all real quiet over there. Crickets. I'm going to start calling y'all Jiminy's.
Well, I mean, the Dallas connection, we're listening to Dallas. I know you're getting it in right now. Are you going to mention Dak Prescott at all?
No, I'm not going to mention. I mentioned Dak Prescott, and you see, that was 2 years ago, and you see what it didn't got me. What I'm mentioning Dak Prescott for? You know what I'm saying? Why would I do? Listen, the first time you're a victim, anytime after that, you're a volunteer. Who will volunteer for you and Double J? Endless badgering. I'm no fool now. I was born that night, not last night. You get what I'm trying to tell you? Yeah, this is good stuff, fellas, as always. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. Go to the search box and type in the shop report. And while you're there, please give a subscription and a subscribe. Please, would you? We appreciate that. We're trying to get to iHeartRadio. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast and give us a follow. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as dropping us your comments, suggestions via email, theshopreport365@gmail.com. And we also, too, have a website, theshopreport.com. And if that don't work, Google it. For my mans, B Rich, Double J, D Gully, and all those who follow and support us, we say thank you. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.
Now the technical quietly, will Jerry.
Go not.